everyone, it's Lena. Welcome back to my bathroom. Today I wanted to do a video on human nature. Okay, I am not one to focus on negativity. I hate negativity. I hate it so much. But this one just shows the power and the evilness that walks among us on this earth, that I cannot even fathom how people can go to bed and sleep at night. Let me start at the beginning. Okay, my husband died on June 21st, 2012. It was a Thursday, and it was the day my whole world just changed, completely changed. And it wasn't about me when he died, it was about him, but I'm still here and he is gone. I know that my husband was very faithful to me. I know that my husband loved me. He adored me. We had a great marriage, okay? My husband died on a Thursday, and for about 3 weeks, after he passed away, I was going to the cemetery like 3 and 4 times every day. My family, my kids, my friends were all like, you got to stop doing that. You've got to stop doing that. And it was just that that was all I had. It was the only place. It was like you go visit your friend at their apartment, at their house, at their condo, at their somebody's sick, you go to their hospital room. Going to his grave was all that I had. So I went to see him. And I started noticing every Thursday a fresh pink or red rose. And I was like, well, that's very weird, but how sweet is that? And they were always like right at his chest, like right at his heart, where his heart would be. And I didn't think too much about it. And then after about 3 months of this, I started going, and I started asking everybody, his kids, my kids, everybody, is it you leaving a rose? Nope. Everybody said, no, I haven't been out there. I don't go out there anymore. I try to stay away from there as much as possible. It hurts too much. But I noticed every single Thursday there would be a rose out there. I ended up buying a house in Florida as well, and I'd go to Florida. I'd spend a couple weeks. I'd come back. Every Thursday there'd be a rose, or the evidence that there was a rose there about 2 days ago if I showed up on a Saturday. Then all my friends were like, well, maybe he did that for you, Lana. Maybe he did that for you because he loved you so much he wants to leave you a rose so you'll see it and feel better. And I said, no, Henry wouldn't do that. He loved me, but that's not his style. So all of my girlfriends then, they were like, okay, I started taking pictures because it started pissing me off. Then I started picking up the roses and flinging them across the cemetery. I was like, what the hell? I couldn't even feel like I could go to my husband's grave and mourn and grieve like a normal widow would. Then I got a letter in the mail. I got a really shitty letter in the mail. Excuse me for saying that, but it hinted to the fact that my husband had been cheating on me when he was alive. I know better. I know 100% better. Then my girlfriends were like, this is crap. We're going to start staking it out. And I said, why? What are you going to do? What if we find out who this woman is? What am I going to do? Go up and punch her in the nose? No, I'm not going to get arrested, that's not me to go punch some lady in the nose, and that's exactly what I would want to do, because my grieving process had come to a halt, because it would really tick me off that I would go out there and there'd be a rose on my husband's grave. Then his employees and his sons took a big picture of all his employees, had it laminated. I had put pictures of our wedding. In the meantime, this was happening. I took our wedding picture out, had the picture itself laminated, put in a frame. I had crucifixes out there. I had potted flowers. It was decorated, okay? Then I started noticing that this woman, would take the picture of his boys and his company picture and put it over, because our tombstones are together. And so it says Lana, wife of Henry, and then Henry with his birth date and death date. But she would cover up my picture, she would cover up my name so that she wouldn't have to look at Lana, wife of Henry anymore. And it would just say him and a new red rose or pink rose every week. I started taking pictures. I went out there when it was 40 degrees below zero. Boom, there's a rose. I went out there in the spring. Boom, a rose. Summer, a rose. Winter, fall, a rose. Every freaking week, a rose. And I got to where I would walk up, see the rose, and walk away. I just say, piss on you, both of you. What the hell? Then I went to Florida. I was gone for all winter. I came back, And I'll be darned, I went out there, I freshened everything up, put new flowers, everything, and there's a rose, of course. There's evidence that there's been roses. And my wedding picture was gone. She stole my wedding picture. Not only did she start covering up my name, she took my wedding picture. So it really made me mad. And everybody, all of the people that rallied behind me said, you've got to do something now. This woman is dangerous. She's cruel and she's dangerous. So I agreed. I said, you're right. She's very cruel and she's dangerous. So I wrote her a note, and this is what it said. Now keep in mind, we're talking about Indiana weather, where there's snow, rain, sleet, hail, whatever. So I printed it out and laminated it, and this is what I wrote. I am placing wedding pictures of my husband and I here at his and my gravesite. If you steal these as you have others, I will report you to the police and a full investigation will be made. Who in their right mind torments a widow after her husband's death? I put that out there, and then I left and went back to Florida because I had some things I had to do. I had a job interview, whatever. So I went back to Florida, so I was gone about 10 days. I came back not knowing what to think. And what I read and what I found when I got to his gravesite literally dropped me to my knees. This was laminated in a different kind of lamination. Exact same print as the evil letter that I got from her after my husband had died, hinting that he had been cheating on me. It says, I have never removed your photos, although his family may not be happy with their placement. I don't really know what that means. Do you honestly think they bother me? I see this only as a desperate attempt from a woman who was a wife, in print, what do you call them, quote, in name only. Be perfectly clear about one thing. We both got, excuse me, I can barely say this. We both got exactly what we wanted. You got his money, I got his heart. Now deal with it. I've hired a police investigator. I know this woman watches my YouTube videos. I'm going to prosecute her with everything that I can. I'm going to expose her. No, I'm really not. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do nothing. I went out there, I took away every flower, I took away every potted plant, every cross, everything. And you know what? She can have him. She can have his gravesite. I know that I was his wife in every aspect, in every way. Where was she when he was dying? Where was she when he was, I was feeding him every 2 hours in a feeding tube. Where was she when we went through radiation and chemo? He was with me 24/7 for over a year, and I took care of him, and I loved him, and I adored him. Where was she? This is just nothing more than an evil, cruel, unhappy, miserable woman that wants to make my heart hurt more than she thinks, make my heart hurt. Well, you know what? You're not going to ever make my heart hurt. My heart hurt the day my husband died. And I don't know who you are. I don't know who you think you are. I don't know what your game is, but back it off. Because I have got enough people around me, with me, behind me, in front of me, that are going to help me to take care of you. And I don't know what your game is. But I found out since then that this happens a lot to widows. I am not an unusual case. Women do this. They see somebody that has died in the paper, and their lives are so miserable, so unhappy, so horrible, that they want to make a widow that has lost her loving husband miserable and hurt and inflict pain and sorrow and be as cruel and hateful as possible. I have asked everybody, his best friends, my best friends, people that knew him, loved him, his coaching friends, his basketball friends. Every one of them says, there is no freaking way he was ever cheating on you, Lana. He loved you. He worshiped the ground you walked on. So whoever you are, woman, back it off, because I got your number, I know who you are, and I think you're pathetic. So I'm not here to create any drama. Take your drama and take it out of here. Take it out of my life. My husband loved me. It's evident in everything he ever did. I never married my husband for his money. If I wanted to marry a man for his money, when I met my husband, I was cute and fun and young and adorable. I could have gotten a man with a whole lot more money than my husband did if that was my goal. You take your cruelty, your evilness, and get the fuck away from me, because I think you're crap, okay? And I'm sorry to vent this out. This is what I know. This is what I live. This happens to other widows. If you've been a widow, or you're going to be a widow, or you are a widow, watch it, because there's women out there that want to see you suffer. As if you haven't suffered enough. They want to see you suffer, cry, be miserable. Well, you know what? I went out there at first and I took away everything off of his grave because it really, really stung. But not anymore, because on Thursdays, you can have him out there on Thursday. Go out there with your little rose, your stinky little rose, and drop it on his grave, because you know what? I live in the house we lived in. I drive the cars we drove. I live my life that we lived, and I know in my heart my husband loved me. I have dreams about my husband. He was my husband. If you want to try to make me think that he loved you, why didn't he put this ring on your finger? Why is that? Why aren't you living in this house? Why aren't you his missus like I am? Just beware, women, because other women, I don't know why, but they just choose to be cruel and evil and hateful. And I'm sorry this video went so awful. And so I think I just groveled down there with her, as low as this woman is, but I wanted other women to know that this happens. I had one friend of mine that said, oh, it happened to her. She went out in a restaurant. Her husband had gone about a month, and she said she went in a restaurant, and this woman come up to her and said, did you know your husband was cheating on you? And she said she knew that he would never cheat on her. They were together 24/7. There was no time, no way he was cheating on her. But she said that this woman just did it and she laughed about it because she enjoyed it. It made her day to see her suffer and hurt. What the hell is wrong with people today? Anyway, I apologize for my language in this video. I have to apologize for my passion in this video. I just cannot believe women, can be so cruel. My life, everything I stand for is women supporting other women. I don't sit around and bash other women. When I see a beautiful woman that's happy or whatever, I will tell her in the grocery store, gosh, you look beautiful today. I am one of those women that will prop other women up because men shit on women every day. I'm not going to be one of those women that stomp on other women. It's stupid. We are all sisters in this world. And I'll tell you one thing. I feel sorry for you. I really, really feel sorry for you because obviously whatever you think you had going on with my husband, he didn't feel it back, baby. He didn't feel it back at all, honey. Sorry. So to all the rest of you, I love you very much. Again, I apologize for this. I just cannot believe the cruelty and the evilness and the downright dangerousness of a woman to another woman. So I love you all. Till next time. Bye.